Good evening, boys and girls. Well, I'm back with our daily math recap. Today we continued our lesson. We kind of took a break yesterday to take a test, but we're continuing on our discovery of volume. So today we went over in more depth understanding volume and what it actually is. So I have two rectangular prisms here, and we're going to break down how we come up with the volume. Keep in mind that volume is the amount of space an object takes up. It's calculated a couple of ways. It's calculated by using the length times the width times the height. It can also be calculated by counting the squares. And in this instance, we could actually count each square because each square represents 1 cubic unit. Okay, we don't know if it's a centimeter or an inch, so we just call it a unit. It's 1 cubic unit. Cubic just means 3 dimensions because it has a length, it has a width, and it has a height. So when we calculate that, we calculate 1 cubic unit. Well, if I look on the bottom level, it looks like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6, or I have a 6 on each layer. So I can do 6 here, 6 here, 6 here, and 6 here, or 4 times, which is 24. That's one way we could find volume. We could also look at it as this. This would be the length, which would be 3 units. This would be the width, which would be 2 units. And this, the number of layers, 1, 2, 3, 4, would be the height. So I now have a length, a width, and a height. So now I can find the volume of this by creating a multiplication sentence. 2 units times 3 units times 4 units, and my volume is 24 cubic units. And the cubic means 3. So we're doing 3 dimensions because remember each one of these blocks is a cubic unit. So 24 cubic units. Okay, let's go to the second rectangular prism. Again, I can find the volume by multiplying the sides. So if I just calculate the length of one side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. The width of one side, 3 units. And the number of layers, which we will now have, that will be called height, is 3 units. And I can find my volume by writing a multiplication sentence. 5 units times 3 units times 3 units, and my volume is 45 cubic units. Remembering that I can write the 3, I don't necessarily have to write the cubic in abbreviation. They both mean the same thing. Okay? Now, what happens in this example where I know the area of this top face? Well, if you remember, the volume formula has length times width times height. And from a previous lesson, you know that length and width are also the formula for area. So if I know the area of one of my faces and I know a third dimension, I can find the volume. That formula is base, which is another name for area of a face, times height, or times h. So in this instance, I know the area of this top face is 4 centimeters squared, and I know the height is 12 centimeters. So if I was to do a multiplication sentence, it would be 4 centimeters squared times 12 centimeters, and my volume would be 48 cubic centimeters. because I've already combined the length and the width. Remember on the other example, I had to multiply the length times the width to get this part. Here it's already given to me because it's given to me in the area. Okay? Let's look at one more example. Okay? Again, it's showing me that this space here has already been calculated as 3 millimeters squared. So I know whenever I see that squared or that 2, I'm being given the area. So I can use the volume formula, base times height. The area is 3 meters squared times 4 meters, and the volume is 12 cubic meters. I hope this has been a help to you, and remember to make sure you bring in those questions tomorrow if you have any. Have a good evening.